Hi, hello everyone. I'm Praveen Kumar, one of the career coach from Raichur district. So, have a panelist named Nikita, who is a youth icon who had achieved many things in the field of space science. So, I really welcome our panelists to this webinar. And when it comes to mine, I'm working as a career coach for the Hedeldi Foundation, which is situated in Bangalore. The main objective of the Triple H Foundation is to empower the students when it comes to youth. And when it comes to entrepreneurship development program, so the foundation is really focusing on the students to get their career for making their betterment of life, providing the entrepreneurship programs, which is a multi-year partnership program with the UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program, as well as UNV, that is United Nations Volunteers, as well as SAPLabs India. So with the collaboration of all these three organizations, Hedeldi Foundation is really making an impact for the students who belongs in Karnataka state. Coming to the point, the program called Project Code Unnati, which is running across 3 districts of Karnataka state, which is that is Raichur district, Dakshin Kannada, as well as Bangalore rural. So across all these 3 districts, so they have chosen 50 academic institutions through which they will be providing career guidance and counseling, as well as employability skills, as well as 21st century skills for the youth. So again, when it comes to the main part, so they are main focusing on entrepreneurship development programs. So in order to make themselves a better career expert in their respective fields. And the objective of the program, that is the Project Code Unnati, they have targeted around 12,000 students in deciding their informed career decisions as well as choices. So, as coming to employability skills, and one more module is employability skills, which is targeted for 8K students, that is 8,000 students across all the 3 districts. And coming to EDP, that is Entrepreneurship Development Program. So they have idea target of around 800 to 1,000 students. So this is the main objective. So when it comes to the purpose, in order to implement all the programs, so Hedeldi Foundation has been trying to interact with many corporates of Karnataka state, as well as the industrial associations, or else the successful entrepreneurs who has really marked their kind of glimpse in their field. So we'll be having an interaction with those kind of people just to motivate the students who are really interested in their respective fields. So this is the purpose, and in order to in order to introduce everything to the students, so we have a program called a webinar. We'll be conducting webinars from the expertise who really mark the mark in their respective fields. So this is the general idea. And when it comes to other parts, so we have a panelist who is and our today's webinar topic is comes as a explore career opportunities in the area of space science. So this is the theme of the webinar. So would like to introduce our panelist Nikita, who is a youth icon, I may say. Exactly, they really got earned an award called as Youth Icon. So from the Karnataka Women's Achievers Award in 2019. Over to you. So please introduce yourself to our all the participants, stakeholders, as well as the students who are really willing to know you and your achievements, what you have done so far. And yeah, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Praveen and Hedeldi Foundation, Unnati, as well as UNDP and SAP. It's a wonderful program that each one of you have come forward to push together and create that impact among the students about their career, because That's one of the important thing, if anyone wants to get into, what they like, I think the guidance is required, and you all together doing it, and me being a very small part of it, it's a very big thing for me. So thank you for the invitation, first of all. And coming to me, hi everyone, this is Nikita, and I'm from Bengaluru itself. So I have done my aerospace engineering from Alliance University, and I graduated in 2017. So from 17 to 2021, I've done like a lot of things, which probably we will be exploring throughout this interview. But to tell something which is very important, I um, I like to teach, and I have been teaching as my hobby, right? So I started teaching right after my 12th. In fact, I used to teach before that as well, but just like, okay, helping someone to get good score, or to pass, and all that. But after my 12th, as soon as I entered into engineering, I took that as one of the part-time job for me, because um, I could see that there are so many things that I have to handle by myself. And so I started teaching science and math to students. And then I also used to do my studies. In 2016, I met one of, I met one person who was also like me, who was very much enthusiastic about space. Like me, Nan Chikkolidaga, I wanted to become a pilot. Um, Literally from third standard, like I wanted to become a pilot, and then ಅದೇ ಪೈಲಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಗೋಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಐ ವೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಮೈ 10th 12th ವರ್ಗೂ ನನ್ನ ಗೋಲ್ ಅದೇ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ದೆನ್ ಐ ಲುಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಕ್ರೈಟೀರಿಯಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಹೈಟ್ ಇಷ್ಟಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಇದು ಓದಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ವಾಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮೈ ಹೈಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್. Like, oh my god, now I can't do this. What do I do? And that's when I thought, okay, it's fine if my height doesn't let me become pilot. It is fine, because I could see that I was equally fascinated towards these aeroplanes, rockets, and astronauts itself. And then that's when I decided to take aerospace engineering, and I did my aerospace engineering. So yes, I met my friend who was also a space enthusiast like me. And then we found very similar problems, exactly about the problem that all of the organizations here are talking about, right? Like there were so many of my friends who are studying aerospace without knowing what they would want to do or what they want to become, and they ended up doing something that they didn't want to do just because they didn't have anyone to guide them, right? And at that point of time, it became very important for me and my friend Sujay, and several people like us, to start talking about, okay, you know what, this is space, and this is aeronautics, this is called astrophysics. So we simply wanted to talk so that people will know the right information, and then they can take the right decision to get into the right career. And that's all how SSCRD was started. My journey as an entrepreneur started, and today we are here following and doing the same thing to help students and to help everyone know about space, and tell them what space is all about, how important it is in our day-to-day activities, and how we can start our career in the space industry. That's all what we are doing today.
I'm so glad to hear you from that. And when it comes to space, we might have heard, many things about the space. There is, when we came across some of the things which is very beyond Earth, we can see many things which are living outside of the space also, outside of the box that is Earth. So not only we were very eager to know what exactly stays or present beyond the Earth. When we start looking what are the real things really happens in the outer sector. So really space makes a huge part in order to explore everyone. So what exactly what exactly is there beyond the Earth when it comes to the solar system or other things. I mean, when it comes to other planets, when it comes to other celestial bodies, such as asteroids as well as the satellites. So our scientists have been very keen. I mean, they have been showing very keen interest in exploring each and everything. So this is how the journey went on to explore other planets too. Now we are colonizing that. We've been behind the Mars also. We've been looking water specimens, even on moon also. So this is some of the basic things what we are looking forward to grow ourselves when it comes to know each and everything about the space as well as other planets or the other satellites or the celestial bodies. So when it comes to choosing your career in space science, so what really you think is space science? When it comes to science, we know that the all the natural phenomenon which are all working on Earth, I mean, which are all being presented in Earth. So it's all just because of science. So just because of discoveries as well as inventions, we've been exploring ourselves on the within our Earth itself. But when it comes to space, so it is a very huge pool of knowledge where we need to explore many things. So still we have many things to explore also when it comes to a planet, when it comes to a satellite, when it comes to a solar system, when it comes to a galaxy, right? So there are many things which we can really explore outside Earth also. So, and in your point of view, what do you really think that what space science is?
Yeah, that's a very, very important question, which I would say, because this is where all the secrets are, left out. In fact, Praveen, you said, space answers what is beyond our solar system. But I want to tell you the fact that space is something that also helps us to know who we are or what is our history. Like, just think about it. How old the space is. I mean,
Yes.
the reason for all of us to be in this world, on this earth, in this format, is space. Like,
Yes.
that's how all this world was formed. If we just step back and think of, okay, if I ask anyone, tell me about you, everyone would say, telling that, okay, I was born on this date, or from in this place. But like, just think about the world in that perspective, and we need to literally start from Big Bang, right? I mean, there are a lot of things that would have happened before Big Bang as well. But space is something that just gives you an idea of what all has happened in this whole universe, right? And then how we actually used to use, right? Like, if I have to talk a little bit about little history, which I which we all know about it, but I want to talk little about that history which is never spoken, right? Like, space is being in use, and it's also called as one of the ancient science, field
Yes.
of science,
Yeah.
actually. Like, because we've been looking at stars and planets to know, okay, which direction are we going in. We use sun and the sunlight to know, okay, what is the time now, right? So these are things which we've been always considering to know, what we are doing now, right, on a daily basis. So that is something that has been happening from a long back, like thousands of years back. Now, if you uh, come to the present today, how are we using space technology? It's completely different, but we are also using it in every single activity,
Yeah.
right? Like, let's talk about morning. You wake up and you want to know some news that is happening across the world.
Right.
You turn up live program. It is telecasted because of satellites. Now, like, let's say you want to go out somewhere, you want to know the weather, how it is, right? Again, you use space
Use the
technology.
technology. Yes.
You want to go to some place and you want to find the direction, you use Google Maps.
We use
Again, space
GPS also. Yeah.
technology. You
Yes.
want to buy something, online, you again use
Use the technology.
indirectly the space technology, the online banking and all these things. So if I start telling you all, every single thing that we're doing is actually dependent on space technology, and that is going to become more and more because space is something like that which can literally solve any problem, or which can come up with innovations that are so important for all of us. That's how important space and space technology is. And now for everyone, what is exactly space, Nikita? The answer is, let me tell you, there are like so many things in this, and that's why we all get little confused. Okay. So I'm going to give you all like a small picture for all of you to visualize by yourself, which will help you to understand. Let's talk about space, literally starting, I would say aerospace, because most of them would either get into space or aerospace. So it's good if I talk about everything, right? So we all must have heard of or seen aeroplanes and helicopters and things. So if you're a person who's interested to learn about all these helicopters, aeroplanes, these drones, or become the pilot itself, or
Even the
designing the
satellites
designing
which are
the
revolving
yeah
around us.
designing the structure, finding the material, everything about all these aeroplanes, the aerodynamics in it, then we call it as aeronautics. Okay, and that's just above the earth. Like we all are on earth, then you can say somewhere around 10 kilometers above you can just start seeing all these airplanes and all these things. Okay, now let's keep going a little higher. And then is where you'll find all these rockets going to space, you'll find satellites in space, you'll find ISS, it's called International Space Station, where astronauts go, whenever they go to space. So combination of all these things is called space technology, or like space, because you're learning about how to design a rocket, satellite, you want to know how to communicate and all these things, including astronauts, how do we live our life there in space and all these things, all comes under space technology. Let us go a little higher, because everything that I said right now, like rocket, satellites and everything, probably it starts somewhere around 100 kilometer from the space, I mean from earth. Okay, and it goes somewhere around like let's say 36,000 kilometer and everything. And then comes one of the next important thing, which is called astronomy, right? So that's basically study of celestial objects. Like you might say, Mom, I'm interested in stars, planets, black holes, wormholes, Big Bang, what not. You start telling me about celestial objects, celestial events that are happening. The study of all this comes into astronomy, right? So I would categorize anything about space into just these three small buckets, and then it would get divided more and more and more, right? So there is this aeronautics, there is this space technology, and then there is astronomy. And this is what this major space is all about. And then, as I said, we get divided into a lot of things, and probably I'll cover all those during the interview as well.
Well, when it comes to space science, so you are using a terminology as the technologies, which is totally dependent in order to know each and everything what's happening on Earth. So it's just because of the technologies what we can put out into the space, right? After putting all the satellites into the spheres, what you said about the stratosphere or else troposphere or well as ionosphere, these kind of spheres are all present above the atmosphere also. Right? When it comes to putting all the satellites into the geostationary orbits, what you mentioned as 36,000 kilometer. So beyond that, we still hope there is a life behind that part. So according to you, space science is nothing but a science where every kind of information can be accessed to the humankind just because of the space itself. So in order to learn the space science, so we should use the technologies which are really present on the Earth. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಅಂಡ್ ಸೊ ಅವರ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ನಡೆಯುವಂತ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆನ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜೀಸ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತರಿಕ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರನೇ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಭೂಮಿಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ತರ ನೀವು GPS ಲೊಕೇಶನ್, ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ GPS ಲೊಕೇಶನ್. ಸೊ ಆ GPS ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಆ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರನೇ. ಸೊ when it get escape from the earth's gravitational force, ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಮೇಲ್ಪದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋದ ನಂತರನೇ ನಾವು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು ವಾತಾವರಣ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಬಿಸಿಲು ಯಾವ ತರ ಸನ್ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸನ್ ರೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸನ್ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ವೆದರ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಇಂದಾನೇ ಪಡೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಮಾತು. ರೈಟ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ವೆಲ್, ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಟು ವಿ ನೋ ದಟ್ science is everywhere, so irrespective of the fields, whether it is graduation or the PUC or even the high schools. So from our childhood, so we are very keen interest about the science also. When it comes to a mature level, in the sense when it comes to course level, when we choose the science subjects, so we have different streams also, coming to ITI streams as well as polytechnic, when it comes to graduation as well as pre-university graduation. So even from engineering stream also, we are going to come across the science topic. So how do you think that the space science is really necessary for other streams of students? What do you think of that? Why it is necessary to understand what exactly the space science is, how we can implement those technologies into our life also?
Again, it's a wonderful question, Praveen, because now this is something which I can again say, this is the information that available outside is that, okay, if you want to work in space industry, you either engineer agbeku athwa scientist agbeku anತಾರೆ. This is the only two options they give. Adike ನೀವು in particularly they'll say, okay, you have to do aerospace engineering. I want to tell you that there's so many things out there. Okay, for example, I'll tell you, like ಹೇಗೆ ಯಾವ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು I wanted to tell them that what are the different things that are there. For example, till now we were thinking, okay, if you want to work in the space industry, then it's just, as I said, scientist ಅಥವಾ ಆ particular courses ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. The fact is no, because ನಾನು 2019 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಓದಾಗ್ಲೇನೆ ನನಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದ್ದು that there is something called space law. ಅಂದ್ರೆ if someone is a lawyer, if someone has studied laws and policies, you could become a space lawyer. Andre space kuda there are rules and regulations that we all need to follow, and we need someone who is good in law. Just that you need to know law, at the same time you need to know space, and you could become a space lawyer. Okay, the next I also got to know that you could become a space doctor. Now that in India it is nowhere ever said, right? So what you should do, you should be a normal doctor who treats patients. But yes, then for a space doctor, your patients are someone who is going to go to space, or someone is in space, or someone who's going to come back to space and are back to space. Because you should again know what a doctor must do, what are the problems we have and everything. At the same time, how is space? What is the pressure out there? How will our body react? How will our skin react when you go to space, right? So these are something extra information that you need to know about space if you want to become a space doctor, right? And then there are so many out there, like space artist, and then space architect. You just become a space, you become if you're interested in architecture, then also in space, then you can become a space architect. Because like just like Praveen said, colonization, if we start going to moon or Mars, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಮನೇಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ತರ ಮನೇಲಿ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀರಾ? No, it doesn't happen. Windows open irbardu, doors open irbardu, because you don't have oxygen there. Yes. And then you're exposed to such harmful radiation. It becomes so hard for you to live there. So nam mane enirte, it has to be designed in a completely different way. Right? So that's space architecture. Similarly, space farming is there. So many things that are there, like for example, entrepreneurship, if anyone is interested, right? So everything is related to space.
Yeah.
So coming back to the question that Praveen asked, there is this, okay, science streams right after 10th ಆಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ 11th 12th ಅಲ್ಲಿ science ತಗೋಬಹುದು. Correct. PCMB there. If you want to go do your biology, you can do it. And if you're still interested in space, I told you, you can do space medicine. Okay. Then for example, if you do any science, and you can still get into engineering. And another myth that I want to tell everyone here, okay, ನಾನು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟ, ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಆಲ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ನಾನು ಏರೋನಾಟಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೈಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ I mean, this is something that even I didn't know. ನನಗೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ until I finished my engineering. And I had no one to tell, which now I realize that you go to any space companies, any space organization, that they are opening, few opportunities for mechanical engineers, electronics engineer. Then there is computer science engineers. Like basically, you do all these basic courses, people welcome you. I tell you, it is because space is for everyone. Space needs everyone. I'll give you a small example. Talk about satellites only. If I have to send a satellite to space, I need a person who is good in designing the structures, thinking of what material we need to use. Who can do it? A mechanical engineer. Now I design the structure. I need to put my sensors into it. Who can tell me the best sensor? Who can connect the best electronics in the best circuit way? An electronic or an electrical engineer. Now let's say, okay, we connected the sensors, we have the structure. Now we need to, know what data it has to collect. Programming is required, for which computer science engineer is required. Right? So we need everyone from every background, wherein we come in as aeronautics and aeronautical engineer, aerospace engineer, wherein we decide, okay, which orbit we have to launch, which speed it has to go, and what mission it has to do, like what task it has to do, what information we need. These are things that is done by aerospace or aeronautical engineers, right? So you basically have opportunities from everywhere. So I would prefer you to think broadly and do whatever you want to, and you can still grab an opportunity in space industry. After your engineering, you can still go do your masters and do your PhD. Similarly, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ITI ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ, and you're still interested in space, you can go and do engineering, right? ITI ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೂರು ವರ್ಷ engineering ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. So you can again go do your engineering with engineering degree. You can apply for any companies, Actually, I have heard that ITI only you get a lot of hands-on experience, which becomes a really good or important factor for anyone to hire, right? Because ನಮಗೆ engineering ಅಲ್ಲಿ, yes, you learn, there is a certain limit for hands-on experience, but for ITI people, a lot, right? So that becomes one of the added advantage. Pure science, let's talk about pure science. Pure science like BSc ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದವ್ರಿಗೆ, and if you're still interested in science, like particularly astrophysics, astronomy and things, so ನೀವು pure science ತಗೊಂಡ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೋಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಮಾಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೋಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. And then another interesting, fascinating subject, particularly in India, is astrobiology. Wonderful subject, because it's about knowing about the life. Bare planets, bare like moons, is it possible? Is there any life possible? First question. Can we go and live on that planet? Second question. Are there any aliens out there? Third question. Astrobiology, wonderful thing. Astrogeology, astrochemistry, these are things that comes under pure science. So if you have chosen pure science like BSc and still doing science, you again have amazing opportunities out there. So this is what overall science. And in the very beginning of the question, I told you, if you're from non-science background also, a nonsense a non-science background, you still have opportunity. Like if you
Yes.
are good in commerce, if you're good in business, you can get into entrepreneurship, you
Yes.
can get into policies, you can get into a lot of management roles as well.
Well, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ in order to choose space science, so ಒಬ್ಬ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡೇ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನು ಕ್ರೈಟೀರಿಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈವನ್ ಅದರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ನಾನ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಕರಿಯರ್ ನ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಿನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಸೊ ITI ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಪಾಲಿಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ನೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಬೇರೆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್, when it comes to polytechnic as well as ITI students, so ಅವರು engineering course ಅನ್ನ choose ಮಾಡಿ again they can turn up their career in space science ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಾತಿನ ಒಂದು ತಿಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ when it comes to science students ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ we come across BSc, MSc as well as other engineering disciplines ಕೂಡ. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ they can choose their career paths in space science too. ಸೊ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈವನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಇದರಿಂದ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಪಡಿಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ತಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಲೈಫ್ ಕರಿಯರ್ ನ ತಾವು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಿಂದ ಅರ್ಥ. ವೆಲ್, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ನೀವು ಯಾವ ತರ, ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಹೌ ಡಿಡ್ ಯು ಬಿಗನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕರಿಯರ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್? ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ರಿಯಲಿ ಥಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ when it comes to choosing of space science? ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಯಾವ ತರ ಮೋಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು, ನೀವು ಯಾವ ತರ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಒಲವನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್.
Thank you. Again, this is something which is very important. ನಾನು ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕವಳಿಂದನೂ ಪೈಲಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಆಸೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಹರ್ಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಕಲ್ಪನಾ ಚಾವ್ಲಾ, ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರುವಾಗ, ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ದ ಡಿಸಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪೆಂಡ್. ಸೊ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ದ ಹಾಗೆ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನನ್ನ ತಾಯಿ ಒಂದು ಟೀಚರ್, ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಟೀಚರ್, ಅಂಡ್ I've seen her teaching, and I think somewhere I've got that interest in teaching also. So school alli if there's any teacher who is absent or athwa late bartidare antandre, like leaders tara kalsida. I used to be a leader, has to be a group leader, and 10th godaga school leader kuda ade. So whenever there is like free class or when teacher is getting little late, they used to say, okay, hogi class taganta. And I still remember till day, ಆಗ ಹೋಗಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಬರೀ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. ಇಫ್ ಐ ರಿಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ನೌ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲೈಕ್, ಹೌ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್? ಆಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಏಜ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಈವನ್ ನೌ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. I mean, I didn't know I would do the same thing, right? So I wanted to become pilot. I want, and then this happened that, okay, I got to know that I can't do it. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏರೋನಾಟಿಕಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಂತ, then I got one college luckily, and I entered that college, and I was studying about space. It was very fascinating. I learned both. The fun part of this particular course in my college was aeronautical kottidru plus aerospace kottidru. So that was one of the important thing that I found in that, because ಎರಡರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಓದೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ತು ನನಗೆ. And then the thing is, this course also fulfilled my dream of becoming a pilot. Actually, ನಾಲ್ಕು ವರ್ಷದ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ in the beginning of 4th year or at the end of 3rd year ಒಂದು ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಫ್ಲೈಟ್ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಕಾನ್ಪುರಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು. ದೇರ್ the program involved us flying in the two different types of planes as a co-pilot. So I did fly as a co-pilot, so that came true. But yeah, again, flying made me so interested about space. And then I used to be someone, whenever you see any event about space, I used to just go and participate. And I tell the same thing to all the students. If you're listening to this, whenever you like something and you want to get into that in the future, it is always important that you go and take part in it. ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. You just go there and attend the program, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಮಾತಾಡಿ, ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ meet ಆಗಿ, ask your questions, get them cleared, build your contacts, network, build your own network, which becomes really important because that what helped me. As a student, I used to attend all the programs, all the conference. And at the engineering itself, I had met so many people who helped me decide, okay, what I have to do, or what is the whole world look like, and what is important, So that helped me to think how this future is. And as I said, I had always this passion towards teaching, and I used to be a part-time tutor. And anyone who got to know that I'm into space, I'm into aerospace, people used to come and ask me, Nikita, how is the future? How is the job in this? What should my son study? What should my daughter study? ಏನು ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? Because it's equally important, right? When you know someone who's into that field, ನೀವು ಹೋಗಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ, and that's a common thing. So many people started asking me. And I told you that all my friends literally, ಅವ್ರು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೋ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಓದಿದ್ದೇನೋ. And for that reason, they lost interest in education. I have seen literally 12th ವರ್ಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ, they are the what can I say, toppers actually. As soon as they come here, and then they lost interest. They were like literally, I felt so bad. I was like, okay, let's start doing. So as a part-time, again, as a hobby, that me and my friends on Saturdays and Sundays, we used to go to different schools and colleges and start telling about space. That's all is what we started off with. And after my engineering, actually, I wanted to do my master's. I wanted to do my higher studies. But again, this happened that my family didn't let me. I mean, they were like, okay, you study, but you have to study in Bangalore only. You should not go outside Bangalore, or you should be home back by 8 o'clock. That was the restriction. And everything that I wanted to study, I wanted to do was outside India. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And then at that point of time, SSCRD was doing so well. Agla 2 ವರ್ಷ ಮುಗ್ದಿತ್ತು. People were recognizing us from across the world. And I saw every month there are few students coming and asking for the same support. I was like, okay, I think this is where it is. I will do my master's later. Let me concentrate on this idea that we've thought. Let me start helping people. And that's how SSCRD started, which is continuing even now. And doing my master's has postponed. I'm still looking forward to do my master's. Let us see how it goes. So this is how SSCRD was started, and even till date, we are teaching about space. We are helping everyone to know more about space and to decide what they want to do.
ವೆಲ್, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಜರ್ನಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಬೇರೆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ರೋಲ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಅದೇ ತರ ಇಡಲಾಗಿರ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಆಶಯ ಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನೀವ್ ಹೇಳೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಒಂದು ನಿಮ್ ಕರಿಯರ್ನ ನೀವು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಟು ಲರ್ನ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ನೀವೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ನ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಗುರುತಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಜಂಪ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ತರ ಒಂದು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎಂಡೇ ಇಲ್ವೋ, ಅದೇ ತರ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಎಂಡ್ ಎಟ್ ಆಲ್. So you can really choose your career in space science, and you can really make your life better in this field. So thanks for sharing your life journey, Nikita. And ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಜಾಬ್ ರೋಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ತರ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಅ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್, ಸೊ ಸ್ಯಾಟಲೈಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಈ ತರ. ಸೊ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ರೋಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಇದೇ ತರ ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ರೋಲ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು?
ನಾನು ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ದಾಗೆ, ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ ಐ ಸೆಡ್ engineering ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, and then you can join into any space related companies and organization. You can go and join as an engineer or as a scientist. These are two important things for sure. Apart from that, as I said, ಈ ಹೊಸ careers ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳದ್ನಲ್ಲ, and that is not that easy to get it. Too easy alla. You will have to create that opportunity by yourself. Actually, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದ್ ಸರಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, what is the opportunity, what is the opportunity? I'm like, no, you have to create your own opportunity and you have to grab that opportunity. So that's what I tell everyone. In fact, ee questioning nan already answer madirodrinda, I'd like to answer something else which is connected to this question. Usually itara space tagondiroru, they think that okay, ISRO ge join agbeku anta, and when they don't get that opportunity they feel bad and they step out of it. What I want to tell you is, ISRO ಇದೆ, ISRO ರೀತಿ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ, ಏರೋಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ, and then we all are in the new world. There are so many space startups who are doing real things. They are building real rockets, real satellites. They are working on so many interesting things. In India, there's so many space startups. So if you are a person who wants to take challenging tasks, of course startups will give you more work, but if you are a person ready to take up that challenge and give your best to grow this company to a high level, and these companies which are there right now have the capability to become next SpaceX of India, there are possibility. So what you need to do is be open to look into opportunities in all these space related companies which are there, which are doing so well. But trust me, if you want to get into these companies, you got to be extremely talented. Actually, ಮೊನ್ನೆ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, who are all the founders of all these space companies. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು, ನಿಖಿತಾ, ಒಂದು ಜಾಬಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆ 1600 ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. I was like, wow, can you believe it? 1600 ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬನ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ how talented you must be, how different you must be, how good you must be, even though if it is for fresher job, right? So build on those aspects of skills that you must be good at and look for opportunities in various organizations. We have ISRO, we have HL, we have DRDO, we have ADE, ADA, and then we have so many institutions and companies where you can go and work. Never give up that hope and go give it a try.
ಸೊ ನೀವು ಹೇಳೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ರೋಲ್ಸ್ ಪಡೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿದೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ನ ಪಡೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯೂಜ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ದ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ ಒಂದು ಜಾಬ್ ರೋಲ್ ನ ಪಡಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಇಂದ ನೀವು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ a job in space science, any company of the space science. So have to be very talented ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಿನ ಅರ್ಥ. Moving to, so ನೀವು, how do you say that our students in PU as well as IT as well as degree should prepare for a career in space science? So ಯಾವ ತರ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್? ಸೊ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿರೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರನೇ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಹೈಲಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನನ್ನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು PUC ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ITI as well as ಪಾಲಿಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅವರು ಯಾವ ತರ ಒಂದು ತಮ್ಮ ಕರಿಯರ್ ನ ಚೂಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಹೌ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್.
So first thing is ಯಾರೇ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಅಪ್ಡೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್. ನಮ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ಲೀಡಿಂಗ್ or who is doing the best job, or like for example, actually this is one question I was talking in, one question came up, like when I asked someone which was a powerful rocket, they all spoke about some rocket which was powerful 50 years back. I mean, they don't know which is a powerful rocket right now, like today. No one knows, right? So anyone who wants to get into space industry, you must be updated. You must be updated so well that you can talk, you know about things. That's the first thing. The second thing, coming about the skills that is required or how you must be, is that for sure if you want to get into any of these field, we say you need to be, you must have background in STEM or STEAM, right? Science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Even mathematics also helps you a lot, because space you can't imagine without mathematics. I tell this to everyone. Those students who are in their high school 11th and 12th, I ask them, do you like math? They were like, illa nanage ishta illa ashtondu nanage gottilla, but space andre tumba ishta. Like, nimage maths gottilla andre you can't do anything in space technology, because everything is math. You need to solve problems. So, math is again very important. Anyone who has background in math can also get into this, right? Now, coming back to the question, what skills you must have? One of the important things that people are looking today is engineering in the bandre. They look at your skills in designing.
Yes.
There are software designing tools like ANSYS, CAD, and things like that, because this is the important part of space, I can say, right? So designing skills is something that they make sure you are good at, because these subjects are already included. If engineering ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಈ course will be included and you must be good at it. Sometimes engineering ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನ್ ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ತೀರೋ ಅದಷ್ಟು ಸಾಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. You need to put little more effort to be the best, because okay, for example, even at SSID there was one intern who came, and we asked them, okay, you know what, design a nut and bolt and print it, 3D print it, because that person was from mechanical engineering. We said, okay, you're doing designing, right? Design it and show. And the student wasn't able to do it. So you must be good in practical way, and that's what everyone would look at. It doesn't matter you are the 90, you have got 98% or you've got 9.8 whatever score in your, it really doesn't matter. All it matters is your skills that you've got, designing skills, problem solving skills, technical solving, or there is something called analytical thinking, critical thinking. You must be good in all this. And of course, coding or programming is one thing which everyone is looking at. If you are good in one or two programming language, I think it becomes like really, really good to get into this field. That is added at one amazing skill factor again, because space is something which includes a lot of problem solving, and for that problem solving you again need this programming and coding skills. So like for example, basic thing is MATLAB, you must be good at it, right? And then there are other programming skills. So programming is one thing which is required. Of course, there are so many other things like how you speak, how good are you in doing research, writing projects, and all those things. It comes hand in hand, like so many skills together you must be good at.
So ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾಟ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲಮ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅಕ್ವೈರ್ ಸಮ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು be prepared to get into a space science anta ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ surely. So different set of skills ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ that is technical skills ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅನಾಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಬಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ರೆಡಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಎಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ನಾನ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಈ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪಡಿಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಮಾತಿನ ಆಶಯ. ವೆಲ್, ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರಬೇಕು? ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನ್ಡ್ ಟು ದೇರ್ future. I mean, what they have thought of doing in space science. So ಅವರು ಡಿಟರ್ಮಿನ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ they have to face those problems. And when it comes to taking all this set of skills, so ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಪಡಿಲೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So this is how the students mindset should be. So very determined, dedicated ಆಗಿ ಅವರು ಈ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ they can get into a field of space science.
One more important thing is usually itara masters ಮಾಡುವಾಗ or in any job you go to, there is one more factor they look at. Independent thinking ಅಂತಾರೆ. As in ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ they see how you think and how you give the solutions for it, right? So ability to think innovatively. So that innovative thinking will come if you keep doing something, if you keep learning something new every day. It need not be like, okay, you have to build something. No, you can watch and learn something and you are good at it. So being updated, as I said. So this is something which is again very important.
ಸೊ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿರೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಸೊ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಕೂಡ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈಂಡ್ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಡೆಡಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ನಾವು ಓದ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ತರ ಒಂದು ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪಡಿಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್, ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಆ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಮೂಲಕ ಪಡಿಬಹುದು? ಸೊ ಆ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲಗಳನ್ನ ಯಾವ ತರ ನಾವು ತಗೋಬಹುದು?
Correct. So the first and the easiest way that you can do is like ISRO ಅಥವಾ NASA, or whenever they do a launch, whenever they launch any mission or anything, they send out some news about it. Okay, ಈ mission ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ experiments ಇತ್ತು, ಈ experiments ಈ ಒಂದು results ಬರಬೇಕು ಇದರಿಂದ, and we launched into this orbit, we launched it in this way. So every space agencies across, whenever they launch anything, they send out some information. So that is the first place where you can learn something on the websites of these missions or like agencies. Apart from that, they can follow some news media pages where they only talk about space, because there you'll find every single thing. Like ivattu yaro obreno satellite launch madidru antandre, the next minute you'll find that details, right? So aa tara you can be part of it. And other than that, there will be a lot of blogs and things that people would be writing. For example, namda Edge of Space anta ಒಂದು blog post ಇದೆ SSCRD ನಲ್ಲಿ. So we keep posting about space related things. Need not be something that is happening right now, but something that has happened long back also. So you keep reading something like from blogs, you watch videos, but please make sure if you nodtiro, just be little careful on from where you're reading, because nowadays, you know, everything is so available out there and you can't differentiate, okay, is this right information? Is this fake information? You don't know. So please be careful. Yav website in the nodtidira. All right, yeah, website in the nodtidira, are they good, and are the information that they're giving right, you know? So if once you look into these websites, you'll actually figure it out. So always be careful from where you would read information, but it's very easy. Just go and find, okay, what is happening next. You'll find a lot of information. Follow some people who are just talking about space every time, right? So these are the places where you can learn more about space.
Well, some disturbances is there, but still I'll go on with the other question. So young people are the, I mean, ಈ resources ಅನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಪಡಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, so you should refer as students that what kind of offline courses or online courses can be done in order to get access to all the resources. So ಈ resources ಅನ್ನ ಪಡೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೊ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಪಡಿಬೋದು. ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ವಿ ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ PCMB ಇನ್ PU, as well as when it comes to life sciences in graduation, life sciences ಅಂತ ತಗೋತೀವಿ, ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ವಿ ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ BE or BTech. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್, ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು ಅದರ್ ನಾನ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವೈಲಬಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ISRO ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, NASA ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, or else some other international space, or some other ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಏಜೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪಡಿಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ISRO ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, NASA ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್.
ಸೊ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಈ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನೀವೇನು ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ, ಅವರು ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ದೆನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ, whenever there is any mission, any launch that is happening, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ ಲಾಂಚ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ ನಡೆಯುವಾಗ they do lot of star parties, and after the launch they will put out some information telling ಹೀಗಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ. Now for example, for those who are interested to learn more, like ನಿಮಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ದಾಗ, there are a lot of courses that you can take up. Like we ourselves are also providing course under Aerospace, and this is open for anyone who is not in technical or non-technical, as I said, right? So this will help you understand what exactly is space, what is happening, and how you can contribute. So this basic courses should help you, and later on there are some courses which you can take degree from also. There are like universities abroad where you can go and do your proper 1 year or 2 years degrees, which will also help you. So to start off, I think small courses is good to take it from. Like for example, you're interested in astronomy, then you take course in astronomy itself. You're interested in rockets, then take course in rockets itself, and learn more about it. See if that is something that you wanted to do, right? So this is how you can get into learn more and then go further.
ವೆಲ್, ಸೊ ನೀವು ಹೇಳೋ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ನೋ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ಥ್ರೂ ದ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ our students will really look into those kind of information in order to get what kind of courses they can really take on in order to get into the career in space science. So when it comes to equality, or when it comes to any kind of job, definitely women are also a part of the society. So ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ they have to get equal opportunities when it comes to education as well as job opportunities too. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ಯಾವ ತರ ನಾವು ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಡಿಸಬಿಲಿಟಿ, ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಗಳು ಸಿಗ್ಬಹುದು ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಪರ್ಸೀವ್ ದೇರ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ಬಹುದು, ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಪಡಿಬಹುದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಸಮ್ ಸಜೆಷನ್.
Very important question. So what happens is, when someone is interested and they want to do something, and their gender is something that might be something that stops. But basically what I have been seeing, history, if you look at history, is always men, because people thought that space is something which is hard, where girls and women can't get into. That was the mindset. Like, you will not believe, namtiro illa gottilla, naan engineering tagondognu, that was just like what, 6-7 years back. Engineering, mechanical tagobeda, it seems adral tumba kelsa madodirutte, hudgirge agadilvante. I was like, seriously, antadénide anta. And then I used to see, because ನಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಧಕ್ಕರ್ಧ ಏನ್ ಕೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಏನಿತ್ತು, that was mechanical, and I used to do it so easily. I mean, that mindset was still there for people telling, okay, ಹುಡುಗಿರ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, you just take computer science, software, easy. No, it is not, because ಹುಡುಗಿರ್ they can do anything and everything. I realized, and that's something which is very important, that the whole world is talking today, that we need to start telling to all our future generation of girls, that you can do it. You can do mechanical, you can do science, you can do space science. It is possible. And you see everyone in my background. In fact, there is this new program that we have for this World Space Week. The theme is women in space, and this program is telling to all these young girls that people have done space, people have taken space. There are scientists, there are engineers, there are astronauts. They're all women. There are business people, there are astrophysicists, everyone. Like, you tell me any designation, I can tell you there is women. They have done. If they have done, you can do it, right?
Yes.
So there is chance for all the girls. If anyone is telling you, just because you're a girl, just because you're a woman, you should not do it, I am telling you, just say okay for them. ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, you go keep doing what you want to do. Okay, this is something that I want all of you to know. Coming about this disability, people with disability, that's another big thing. Like, people will think if you have disability and you like space, you can't get into it. But then, one day, there was 2-3 days back, there was one mission. Okay, not 2-3 days, I think another 2 weeks back, there was a mission where people took people who went to space as astronaut was someone with a disability. So we are talking about people who with disability also getting into space. It's all about your brain. I'll give you one of the best example. If you are thinking you're a disabled person and you don't want to do, have you all heard of Stephen Hawking?
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking was a person with disability sitting on the chair and doing everything. He changed the world how it has to be seen. I can't give you better example than him. So you should get into it. Don't think about your gender. Don't think about your disability. If you have that will to do what you want, I think you have to go forward and do it. That's it.
ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಕರಿಯರ್ನ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜೆಂಡರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಬಯಾಸಿಟಿ ಇರಲ್ಲ, so no need to worry about the gender what you are, so as well
exactly.
as
and the thing is, now they are making sure that girls and women are given opportunity. Every company, there must be these many women in it, and the way they are encouraging is, if they start, if there is any company, and if it has a woman founder who's going to be an entrepreneur, they're supporting those companies as well, which is very good. That's how you bring in all the girls and women to do what they want. So tumba opportunities there, and you have to create those opportunities for yourself as well and go and explore.
Well, so other opportunities anta bandaga, so there should not be any kind of gender inequality. So ellugu kuda opportunities are all around welcome. So not only for men's, so it is also meant for women's also, as well as the persons with disabilities also. Illi yavade ondu matter agalla, even if it is of gender kind or if it is of disability, so nothing matters. So namge ondu proper knowledge, athwa now if we are very good at the position, definitely we can get a job or get a career in space science anta iವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. So ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಿಖಿತಾ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ, being a girl, so she has achieved so many things at this age. So it really make other people to think of themselves in Nikita's place also, because she has arrived to this place being a girl and still having some different kinds of barriers in her life. So she has achieved something great, which is very ideal, or which can be make other people to think of too. So what is the best career advice you have received from your friends, or else from your colleagues, or else from your faculties, anyone?
That's another interesting thing. Okay, I never I think the best thing that, like, let's say the best thing that has happened to me was one of my mentor telling, particularly into entrepreneurship, because that's what I chose to, right? And the way everyone is getting interested in entrepreneurship, and something that I want to tell everyone, that my mentor said this, and I think it is so important that we all follow that. right? So anyone who's interested into particularly entrepreneurship, not only into space, into anything. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರೇ ನಿಮ್ ಸ್ವಂತ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಸ್ವಂತ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ರೆ, one rule or one important thing that you all need to follow is, first ಒಬ್ರು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೆಂಟರ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು. And that's what I think it is so important, because unless you are an employee once upon a time, you will not know what are the problems your employees will face. Because considering me, I was a student when I started SSCRD. Right after my engineering, I went on to the I went on to this company, right? And then we started hiring people. And the thing is, what we feel is, okay, we need to gather everyone up, like be friendly or leave them with whatever, however they want to do. But then at the same time, there are so many other things which I was not knowing, because I was never someone who experienced that being an employee. What would it be? How would the life be? So that I can understand more about my employees, or help them, or give them more opportunities, something like that. So and I think she said this for entrepreneurs, but it could be applied for everything, right? Every single thing. Before you want to do something by yourself, you go and do it under someone. You go and try to learn something, and then it will give you an idea. Okay, adu tappagitu, I think I can do better in this. Idal naan chennagi maadbodu because I'm good at it. And you implement that. So always have some little experience before you get into anything. That will help you. Working experience is like really, really important, not only for becoming an entrepreneur, for everything. And sometimes before getting into a job, they still ask for experience. What experience is it? It's nothing but internship. You go and work under someone for 1-2 months and understand how things are, how people work, how do they live their life, because you're a student. Right after student life, if you get into employment, it will be little hard for you. So the best way to get that transition is join or do an internship, get that work experience, and then go for the real job or real whatever you wanted to do. Yeah.
Well, in order to make your career, so definitely ಒಂದು experience ಅನ್ನ ಪಡಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ. So in order to get that kind of experience, so what you said that in order to be experienced, so we need to join some internships as well as we need to join a company as an employee. So ಆತರ ಏನಾದ್ರು you can suggest or guide us our students in order to get into internships or job related things to space science. So in order to be experienced, so what kind of internships or jobs can students can rely on?
Correct. Now, I want all the students to know that the meaning of internship. The meaning of internship is you work under someone who have done real things. Okay, because internship, you can't go under someone who has no experience again. You are going there for your getting your experience, and you working under someone who has no experience doesn't matter. So you should go, like for example, you decided I want to work in this particular industry or particular profile. You find someone who's good at it. You can go under any organizations or companies or individual also. This is one thing which students don't think of. Like for example, if there is one scientist, you can go and do the internship under them, under their guidance, because they have done a lot of work. And they are, if they are agreeing to help you personally, you should do it, because after all, internship is learning something from someone who's experienced, right? So while you're picking internship, be little check about it, who's where you're doing, because we are particularly into this education field. A lot of students come and approach for internship, and a lot of students, I have seen like people go and do internship under someone who just started their own company like 1 year back, 5 months back, 6 months back. You will not get to do anything there. You will not get to learn anything out there, right? So make sure you go to someone who is experienced and do that internship. Be it something, internship is again something where you need not do something new. That's again what people think wrong. You need not do something new. ನೀವು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಏನೋ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಬೇಕು, ಹೊಸದ್ ಇನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆ ಥರ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಶಿಪ್ or working experiences, learning and seeing or doing how people have done earlier, and repeating those and seeing if you can do it, learning how they did it, right? So this is something an internship is all about. So based on what you want to do, decide which are those best organizations, best institutions where you can go and do internship. If you can't find internship in those or under those best organizations, best institutions, be it best company, then find individual people and then just write them an email telling, I've been following your work, I've been uh, my area of interest is same as what you are, and I want to work on this, I need your help, I need your guidance over. That's all, you know. So that's how you have to approach for the internship.
So one myth would you like to break about a career in space? So for example, ancient times definitely we would have heard that sun is yellow, or sun looks like yellow in color, or else we cannot pass through the asteroid belts. So these are some kind of myths what we earlierly had. So ಆ ಥರ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಮಿತ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ what kind of thing you would like to break a myth?
I think one of the biggest myth that people are thinking about is aliens, which I would be very happy to talk about, because students, right, they're so interested about aliens, and whenever we have any sessions, any program, any course, we will be talking about something, but it'll end up with aliens, right? So the big myth, but most of them think, because of our movies, that okay, there are aliens have visited. Now one thing that I want to let you all know is that we don't have any scientific proof of aliens visiting the earth. We don't have any proof of how aliens would look like. You all must have seen, they come with big head, big eyes, green in color, blue in color, one eyes, whatever it is, it's all imagination of people.
Yes.
We don't have any proof. I can tell you all the proof that I have about aliens. What is the meaning of alien? A life of some celestial object. I tell you, the best aliens are us itself. We are the aliens of Earth. If there is someone on Mars and looking at us, we are the aliens. We are the aliens of Earth, right? So if you look at other planets like Mars or other planet like Venus itself, even if there is some small microbe or microorganism that is also alive, and that's also called as alien, right?
Yeah.
In which we are still working on. We recently found that we found a dead microbes or microorganisms on Mars, which means that it was once upon a time life. There was life, but now it is not there because of several conditions. And we are not sure if we are, if we have the technology to detect all those aliens also, which could not be in our solar system, somewhere outside. We are still figuring it out. There's so many thousands of scientists who are exploring, who are doing research every single day, but till date no one has seen an alien which looks like human with blue or green in color. Yeah.
Well, so new aliens and the examples on the Tondaga, you call it, you will take it as a myth because after a filmy style movies aliens will look like this. So they have big ears, big eyes, and a very different kind of body structure. So itra anta one imagination everyone has there in mind. So adu ಒಂದು ಮಿಥನ ನೀವು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀರಾ? So there is nothing like alien thing. I mean, idru kudanu it is not of that shape. In order to know what exactly the alien, so ನೀವು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕರಿಯರ್ ನ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಯಲಿ go to go into space and you can really check on how the aliens really looks like. So ಆ ತರ ಅಂತದೇನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ there is a different thing, so you can really explore many things when it comes to space ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So that can be done through the space science itself ಅಂತ. So ಇವರು ನಮ್ಮ ನಿಖಿತ್ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Well, coming to last finale, that's what's the one piece of career advice you would really give to our younger students, so in order to make their career in space science?
Yeah, so very interesting question. If you all want to get into space, And if you're still thinking, okay, ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, what is that I can do? One thing that I always tell my students, and which I want to tell all of you here, is that always remember two things, okay, when you're deciding what you want to do in your future. One is, um, look out what problems you're facing here on earth, and how you can solve with the help of space technology. So if you think of a problem, if you think of space solution, it will help you to decide what career you need to take to. First thing. The second important thing which I tell everyone is that, you know, always think about future. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಏನ್ ನಡೀತಿದೆ, ಈಗ ಏನ್ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್, ಲೈಕ್ ಮುಂದೆ ನಮಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ and what is going to be important in the future. If you can start focusing on that and start studying now and start preparing for it now, it will help. Just giving an example, one of the important thing that people can think of is space food. We're all planning to go to Moon and Mars, and we can't carry our food.
Yeah, exactly.
So there, but you need to think of a way to either create like do the farming there, or preserve food, or whatever it is. It is the future, which we are going to space for sure. And about space food, which can stay for years and years, we don't have anything. So think of that, think of that, where if we plan to stay for 1 year, how will you survive for food, water, right? So look out for those career which talks about the challenges that we are going to face in the future, or that even people are going to are facing now, and think of learning something which will help you solve those problems and get into those kind of career, is what I'd like to say.
As of now, I mean, Earthally now ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ರಿಯಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾವರ್ಟಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಾವೇಷನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೊ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೊ ಈವನ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಸ್ಕೇರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಕ್ಲೈಮೇಟ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, climate changes ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ವಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್. So these are all kind of the aspects which are really affecting our planet Earth. So in order to survive the humankind, so we need to look after the life which is really needed to survive the humankind beyond the earth anta ನಾವು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಚೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ಅದರ್ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ಕೈಂಡ್. ಸೊ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ರಿಯಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಲೈಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೇಬೇಕು in order to make humankind better, as well as you have to do this in order to make Earth as a habitable planet, as well as you can turn up other planets into humankind, a living planet also. When it comes to Mars anta bandaga, definitely there are some organizations which are really planning to take over the Mars and to start a new life there, because they know that the Earth really coming to an end. So ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ತುಂಬಾ ವರ್ಷಗಳವರೆಗೂ ನಾವು ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಕರಿಯರ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡು ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ಅ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಅಂತ ನಿಖಿತಾ ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ these are all, I mean, whatever Nikita was said about the career opportunities in space science that really help our students in order to make their informed career choice when it comes to choosing that space science. So even technical students agirbodu, athwa technical background iruvanta science students agirbodu, non technical background iruvanta students agirbodu, definitely they can choose a career in space science. So that's how they can evolve. That's how they can make their future better after choosing the career space. So, thank you for sharing all your thoughts and suggesting a few things. I mean, so definitely our students, our stakeholders, and the faculties definitely look into this space science as a serious kind of a field in future. Definitely, they will motivate the students also in order to take up the space science. So that's how they can really make themselves to a better life anta ಹೇಳೋಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ. Well, thank you, Nikita. Thank you for sharing all your thoughts and being with us. It's a great time having with you. Well, that's all from my side. And would you like to please give any suggestions or kind of feedback to our audience or the participants?
Thank you very much for inviting to this. I loved speaking over here. If there's any more questions, I would be very happy to answer. If there's any particular student has any particular question, do pass it to me. I would be very, very, very happy to help them out. And being said that, I'm there on all the social media. You can find me, Nikita C. Feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Nikita, I want to just say, I think it's a very great, lively, interactive session that you both have carried out. It's actually the session, webinar session was actually scheduled for an hour. You have actually got lively and interactive for people of all ages, I must say. So anybody from school, college, to somebody who's working would have definitely found this webinar very interesting. Great hosting by you, Praveen and Nikita. We really, made it very, very simple for us to understand that space science is not just related to space; it's the theory of everything. As very recent movie which featured Stephen Hawking's life focused on the title, "The Theory of Everything." So, thank you for this. Thank you for making time to be on this webinar. We have two phases to this program, as we have discussed before. Apart from the panel discussions which are taking place, we are also having announced career guidance and skills and 21st century skills program being rolled out in Raichur, Bangalore rural and Dakshina Kannada districts, across university colleges, degree colleges. It's great if you know, also probably let us available in any manner physically or even in terms of availability of Zoom calls. So our career coaches like probably schedule a 45-minute session where you can talk about opportunities in space science for the audience. So if it is ITIs, if you feel it's relevant, you can address them, or our PUC students or degree students. I'm sure our coaches in the colleges would definitely find it very, very informative and educative for the young people in these districts. So I will give you some time to think about it and let us know. This program is currently being and will go on. So please keep this in mind and let us know your availability for this. We have one more segment which we call Voices from the Ground, Nikita, on this program. What we do here is we ask educators for panel discussion to actually share their point of view on the usefulness of a program that we are doing, which includes the panel discussions and as we discussed, our career coaches like Praveen are deploying this program across 3 districts on career guidance and counseling, employability skills, and 21st century skills. As somebody who's a young entrepreneur and a space science educator, how do you see programs like this being useful for young people getting into the world of science and technology? One is from a student perspective. The second is from the perspective of a professional working in the science and technology area. On how do you think this would shape the knowledge, skills, and mindset, the relevance of a program like this, right? So it would be great if you can, give us your point of view and perspective.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is so direct. I can talk about this program, and if I was talking about this same topics and same questions answered to people who are in my connections, only they get benefited. Through this program, like particularly through this talk, even if one person had that curiosity and were thinking, I have to get into this space, and if they get into, I think I'm happy, you all are happy because they've decided, okay, they have to do, and they know the path, right? And through these such channels, if we go out and talk more, And particularly the areas that you all are working in, tier 2, tier 3 cities, it's so important because the dream is over there also. I mean, the students out there are even more eager to know because I have worked with tier 2, tier 3 students and I know how enthusiastic they are compared to our tier 1 cities sometimes. Because our Taiwan city students are like, they have access to so many things and they think that they know. But then there are other students out there who always want to know something, who always want to do something. They are open and asking questions. They are, I think, for those type of students, you know, the program is planned, and I also believe that the talents, the great talent come from those areas as well. So it's a wonderful program and wonderful idea of reaching out to these students, and in fact for everyone, it really is wonderful program. Coming to working sector, women's, I think those who are already working in any sector, like particularly women or even men, it doesn't matter. Always, it's good that they speak about their career because that's what students lack. Like, you just go and talk to any software engineer, ask him the same set of questions that Praveen would have asked, his answers are different. And it becomes equally important for all the students to know what everyone thinks and what they have to get into, because for a few people it might be good, for few people it's not good, and it's a right for that student to know good and bad of it, so they know what they are getting into. So if you're talking about working sector, I think it's good you pull in people and just throw them 5 important questions which they can answer and send it to you in terms of video, and those videos are just there where people can just watch it, or you pick important thing that they would have said and share it across the students. That also works, that also helps a lot for the students.
Thank you, Nikita. And the takeaways that I see from what you have to say about our program is that it helps curiosity amongst young minds, empower young minds in terms of getting them to know about the world of opportunities, also gets them to know about different divergent views. So, as you said, whether we get somebody from software, space science, or different professionals, the questions that we are asking will unlock the young minds to look at different career stories and different career pathways. Even though they are similar roles, the pathways that everybody takes is different. So it gives divergence as well as everybody, each individual, to look at it contextually from their own perspective or point of view. Thank you, Nikita, for your point of view. Thank you, Praveen, for this for us. Uh, I personally have taken this takeaway from Nikita, from the way you have shaped your career and your life. I would like to go back to Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, the former president of India. He addressed students and he said, don't lose your foothold on earth while sweeping the skies. So what you are helping us do is helping our students understand that they got to get their fundamentals in science right before they can take off into space, because there's nothing to help you stay up there if you have not figured out the fundamentals. So it's great that you're helping our students figure out that there are opportunities not just in space science from the realm of science directly, but also opportunities in space law and other divergent areas. So whether you're from a arts, commerce, or science background, you definitely have a role to play in the world of space science as a career. So thank you, Nikita and Praveen. Thank you, Toshi, for helping us curate this program digitally. And on that note, thank you, everybody, and good night. It's at 7, so I can safely say it to everybody. Thank you. See you in the next webinar, which will be tomorrow, which will be hosted by Praveen, which is on careers in digital marketing and analytics, which will again be hosted by our dynamic career coach from Raichur, Praveen. Thank you. Good night.